In a corner far from time, where earth is but a memory, I, the last storyteller, still speak the tales. This one is from a time when legend was truth. In a world where sunlight never touches the earth and shadows weave the stories, Kachalak was born, a boy with dreams larger than his crumbling hut. This tale speaks not of radiant heroes, but of broken hearts and sorcery that festers in the dark. Here, every wish carries a price, and every triumph casts a shadow of doom. Are you ready to step into a realm where the line between dream and nightmare vanishes? In the dilapidated hut, beneath the dim flicker of a candle weeping wax, an old woman gazed at her son, Kachalak, with weary eyes. Poverty clung to their lives like a heavy shadow, but Kachalak, with a heart ablaze, harbored a dream that even the cracked walls of their home could not contain. "Mother, I'm in love with the king's daughter. Now go and ask for her hand for me." The old woman laughed, a bitter sound like the taste of dust that had tainted their bread for years. "Kachalak, us in the king's palace? This dream is like leaping for the sun. Your wings will burn." But Kachalak was deaf to her words. His eyes gleamed like lost stars in a midnight sky. "Is the king's daughter or no one? If you don't go, I'll throw myself into the well." The old woman, her heart torn between love for her son and dread, draped her tattered shawl over her head and set off for the palace. In her mind, a voice whispered, "This path leads to darkness." The king's palace stood like a fortress of shattered dreams, shrouded in thick fog. Its courtyard held two stones, one for beggars, another for suitors. The old woman, driven by desperate courage, sat on the suitor's stone. The king, clad in velvet that seemed woven from dragon's blood, stared at her from the outer hall. His eyes were like blades aimed at her heart. "Old woman, what do you want here?" His voice thundered through the hall. "I've come for my son, Kachalak. He loves your daughter." A murmur rippled through the hall. The courtier smirked, the vizier coughed, and the king erupted in fury. "My daughter is for princes, not the son of a beggar." The old woman returned, legs trembling. But Kachalak, possessed by his dream, sent her back to the palace. "Go and say I want his daughter. Be clear this time." The second visit pushed the king's anger to its peak. "What a time we live in. An old woman dares to ask for my daughter for her son." But the vizier, with a sly smile, whispered, "Your Majesty, throw a great obstacle in their way. Let them retreat on their own." The king grinned, a smile colder than winter's wind. "Tell your son to come. If he can do what no one else can, perhaps I'll give him my daughter." The old woman and Kachalak, with pockets full of roasted chickpeas and raisins and fragile hopes, passed through the city gates. They stopped by a spring, whose water seemed to well up from the earth's tears. Suddenly, the water churned, and a dervish emerged from its depths. His robe was like the night, his eyes like burnt-out stars. "Old woman, who are you, and who is this young man?" His voice echoed like a call from the underworld. The old woman told her tale. The dervish, with a smile that could be kind or sinister, took Kachalak with him. They arrived at a garden that seemed stitched from fragments of lost dreams, trees with skeletal branches, reaching for the sky, and cauldrons reeking of magic. The dervish, named Kuse Ayar, poured sand into a cauldron, chanted a spell, and drew forth vibrant dishes. Kachalak watched, spellbound but silent. He knew magic was a double-edged blade. At the garden's edge lived Marjan, Kuse's daughter. Her eyes, like twin black rubies, captured Kachalak's heart. Marjan, privy to her father's secrets, warned him, "If my father learns you've unraveled his magic, he'll throw you into a cauldron and turn you into gold." Kachalak, cloaked in feigned ignorance, studied Kuse's sorcery. At night, when the moon hid behind clouds, Marjan whispered her father's spells to him. With trembling hands, Kachalak wrote them in a notebook, words that seemed to slither from demonic tongues. After 40 days, Kachalak decided to return. Guse, pleased with his apparent stupidity, sent him back to the spring with a spell. But Kachalak was no longer the simple boy. He now held magic that could upend the world. Kachalak told his mother, "Mother, I can become anything I want. Tomorrow you'll find an Arabian horse in the stable. Take it to the market and sell it for 100 gold coins. But keep the reins." In the morning, Kachalak transformed into an Arabian horse, its mane blazing like fire. The old woman took it to the market, and the king's vizier, enchanted by its beauty, paid 100 gold coins. When the stable master demanded the reins, she said, "This horse needs no reins." The horse, Kachalak, shrank into a mouse and vanished into a hole. The next day, Kachalak became a fighting ram. The king's champion bought it, but when it fought another ram, it turned to smoke and rose to the sky. On the third day, Kachalak became a deer bought by the king's son. The deer, otherworldly, nuzzled into the prince's pocket, then became a sparrow and flew away. On the fourth day, Kachalak became a Bandari donkey. But this time Kuse Ayar was in the market. His gaze pierced Kachalak's heart. "How much for this donkey?" 100 gold coins. Kuse, realizing Kachalak had stolen his secrets, said, "I want the reins too." The old woman resisted, but the lure of 500 gold coins blinded her. Kuse took the donkey to his garden and told Marjan, "This is Kachalak." Marjan, still in love with Kachalak, dropped a knife into a pond under the pretense of washing it. While Kuse went to retrieve it, she loosened the reins. Kachalak became a pigeon and flew. Kuse turned into an eagle and pursued. Kachalak became a rose in the king's garden, Kuse a dervish. The rose became a ruby in the king's crown, the ruby an exploding pomegranate. Its seeds scattered and Kuse, a rooster, pecked at them. But one seed became a jackal and choked the rooster. The jackal's skin split and Kachalak emerged, no longer poor or ignorant. The king, stunned, heard his story. Who was this dervish? Where did this magic come from? Kachalak told all, the spring, Kuse, Marjan, and the spells. The king, as if seeing something greater than himself for the first time, laughed. "My daughter is yours." For 7 days and nights, the city drowned in light and music. Kachalak and the king's daughter stood hand in hand beneath a sky no longer gray. The king, without a son, named Kachalak his heir. But amid the wedding's joy, under the glow of palace lanterns, a shadow fell on the wall, unseen by all but Kachalak. At midnight in the bridal chamber, he looked into a mirror and froze. Instead of his reflection, Kuse Ayar stood there with that same sinister smile. In his hand was the notebook where Kachalak had written the spells, its words writhing like living snakes. The next morning, Marjan, meant to attend the wedding, was gone. Servants said they saw her in the garden, but it was empty, save for a broken rose branch. Kachalak, his heart heavier than any stone in the palace, recalled Marjan's warning, magic always has a price. Was Kuse Ayar still alive? Or was this merely the shadow of Kachalak's guilt haunting him? And if Marjane had fallen victim to her father's magic, what price would Kachalak pay for his love and crown? And that was tonight's tale. Don't forget, every story hides a truth within.